So we got NBA Chat Town today, and today we're going to be talking about a couple different topics. Did the Nets really try to trade Kevin Durant? What do you think about this, Bruce?
I don't think they tried to trade him. I believe he demanded a trade. I think okay, so I think maybe in the beginning they may. Well, I don't know because he was under contract with them. He was under contract with them. So I don't think they really tried to trade him. I think he demanded the trade, but him demanding the trade, I think the league, they're getting tired of all these players like running, like still being under contract and forcing their way out of teams. And then like Durant got what he wanted. So you're trying to bounce on the team that you wanted Kyrie Irving. You wanted him. Not the Nets never wanted Kyrie Irving. And as we see, they were right in their feeling. But I think once he tried to demand a trade, all the other teams kind of balked. Like, no, the day of y'all motherfuckers bouncing out of your contracts and just fucking bouncing from team to team, I think they really stood firm. I don't think there was a market for Kevin Durant. Had he been in like out of contract and like a free agent, of course, some other team would have picked him up, but they don't want to set that precedence that just because you're a superstar, you can demand out of your contract and force a trade. I think they're tired of that because they did it with what James Harden. They did it with Russell West. He didn't demand. I know they did it with Harden what a couple of times
Oh yeah, for sure.
and a couple of other people. I think they're just tired of superstars. Just you created this team, so stick with it. You got paid a fuckload of money. Why do you even like
Hey,
shit?
that's some hot takes from Bruce. But to go on what you're saying, where kind of the league is tired of that, what I think is the owner of the team, who is Joe Tsai.
Yeah.
He's the owner of Amazon.com of China. I think it's called Alibaba. And over in China, dude, they do shit differently. Like you know what I'm talking about? They do shit differently. And I think he was like, look,
Fuck that.
yeah, you're here on my team, man. I think you know what I mean? I think there's a different approach from him because he comes from a different culture. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to be honest with you, what team is going to want, like, obviously we're not professionals. We're just some fans talking about some shit. And Kevin Durant is a good player, but he hasn't played much for a while. He's been
Well, I mean,
injured.
right. They let him. They still paid him, knowing that he was going to be out for the whole first season that he signed that contract. They still paid you.
Yeah, and well, let's see his track record. You know, he left OKC for reasons he had every right to, right? But the
Right.
way the way you left, you got your ass whooped by Golden State, and then you go join them. So I mean, it's a weak move. That puts a stamp on you, bro. You know, and
Yeah.
then he goes over with the Nets, and him and his boy that he brought over, Kyrie, they don't get along. So what team wants that? And you're older. And another thing I was thinking about, Bruce, is let's say a team does want him, right? So A, they either got to mortgage the future with draft picks, or they got to give up young talent. We need to have a show about the next wave of NBA superstars coming up because the regime that we think about is getting old. They're getting close to being done. When you think about Durant, Curry,
LeBron.
LeBron, that who's taking up that new guard? We need to talk about that on one show for sure. But
Yeah.
who wants to mortgage their farm? Go ahead.
I said a lot of them are getting older.
We've watched a long time, and the NBA goes through transitions. You know, the torch gets passed to different generations, and we're about there right now, coming up real soon. But I
Yeah.
mean,
In the next like really like 3 or 4 seasons, it's going to be way different. It's going to
yeah,
be different. And the thing is, like, also too, though, I think that other teams would. I hate Georgia. Fucking just the bugs. Goddamn. I think that Not necessarily that they don't want him, because who doesn't want Kevin Durant? But also at the same time, what up, M3? What up, Diamonds? At the same time, it's like, okay, he demands a trade. At he goes to another team. So what if shit doesn't go right then? So like you say, mortgage the future, and then he doesn't like how shit's going, and then he demands a trade from that team, and then they've already fucked up future playoff chances because they gave up the house for him, and now he wants to leave again. Like, somebody had to put a stop to it. You can't just keep demanding trades out of teams. You can't demand your way out. You signed a contract. You brought the people that you wanted. You wanted Steve Nash as the coach. Y'all said y'all didn't even need a coach. You wanted Steve Nash as the coach. You got what you wanted. Then all of a sudden you don't want to work with him. You got Kyrie. He don't want to fucking work.
No.
Like, they got to stop that. It was getting ridiculous, because then it's just like, yeah, there's no security. There's no security when you can just, when the players would just be like, oh, well, I don't like how shit went last season, so you know what? I'm demanding the trade.
Yeah, for him to leave his situation before was crazy. I mean, for whatever reason, we're not in the locker rooms, we're not in people's situations, so we can only comment from a distance, right? But shit can still look fucked up from a distance. I mean, I think we were all taught when we was younger, sometimes perception is important. You know what I mean? The company you keep is fucking important sometimes. Like, man, he had an outfit right there, dude. Like, Curry took a back seat to him. They let him do it, but I know, just in the public side for the normal person, not anybody working on the inside, you know, from a distance, it looked like he had a beef with Draymond, and that just wasn't good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and from the inside. Remember, Draymond Green had called him a bitch or something, and caused a lot of strife between them. But the thing, too, though, like, the Golden State Warriors was never Kevin Durant's team. Like, that's Steph Curry's team. I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant never really felt like he was getting the respect that he deserved, which he rightfully deserves, but he wanted his own team. You cannot join what was a 72, 73 win team and expect people to be like, oh, you're the man. Like, they did this already without you. So you didn't really add anything. You just made an unbeatable team, like, even more unbeatable. You made it impossible. So I understand why he left, but at the same time, when you're making that kind of money, at this point, isn't it about the rings? Like, Kevin loves basketball. He loves basketball, like, truly.
Bro,
it should be
at
this point.
You make a great point. We got what's up to Diamonds in the chat. What's going on, sir? Glad you stopped by. And M3 makes a good point here. He said 100% why I steered away from mainstream sports. Nobody is loyal no more. It's all about money. It, like Bruce was saying, didn't it used to be about the fucking rings? That was always been about money.
Right.
You always want to make money, right? But the most money came with the rings.
Right.
After a while, like, we're from the old school. Like, you got bragging power. You talk shit. You don't want to lose to no motherfucking buddy. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, after a while, though, these stars, they've made so much money from sports and even from, like, investing their money. They made so much money through investing their money, opening up businesses and shit. Like, money at that point shouldn't even really be like, it should be definitely, they're not making what Jordan and them made. They're making like 10 times more than what fucking Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, with the real GOATs, they're making 10 times more than what these dudes would have ever. I mean, had it not been for the shoe, Jordan wouldn't have never made that money through basketball.
Oh yeah. So branding, they've taken branding. To me, sometimes it seems like branding is more important than the competitive drive for a player.
Yeah, I think that, man, sometimes, I don't know, he's made enough. To me, he should have stayed for the rings. You weren't going to win no damn rings with the Nets. Not with Kyrie. I mean, if Kyrie would have stayed, would have played like he's supposed to, then they would have been like they probably would have been favored to win like at least the Eastern Conference. Maybe
Oh,
not at all, but they would have definitely they wouldn't have been first round out the playoffs.
hell no, they wouldn't have been. But I don't know, man. So yeah, like I said, we come from the generation of just competitive drive. Like
Right.
if you come from dirt, you worked even harder. You know what I
Right.
mean? And a lot of them guys, like I think Jordan was the highest player I think when he got his last contract. And don't it's in the third. I think it's like 33 or 38 million. Now I think I heard who were they talking about? And they were up for a max contract, and I think it's up to 258 million or some shit like that.
Right. Like they're making insane amounts of money.
I think when they started doing that new max deal, Curry was one of the first people to hit on. It was like 209, and that was like what 340. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going off the top of my head. Like we'll keep doing this show. I'll bring some stats and shit like that. But this is all just off the top of my head, and I think that it's gotten that much already this quick.
Right. Over $200 million.
As you can see, your Lakers are stuck with some of that because Russ signed that max deal in OKC, and he's still on that max deal, bro.
Man, I hope that I don't know what the Lakers are going to do. I'm not
we
getting my hopes up. I don't even know. I'm speechless. I have nothing really to even to say, but I hope that there's something. I don't know. Russ needs to tighten up. Like
tighten up.
tighten up. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what to say about the Lakers. I mean, but they've been disappointing ever since. Like I don't know, man. After Kobe retired, we were not the same. We have one. What we have one championship. What 3 playoff appearances? We have not been doing. I mean, LeBron can't hold it. Like the Anthony Davis trade was horrible, the worst shit ever. You know he's made out of glass, so why the fuck? Why are you getting him? Russell Westbrook, where does he even fit in? Like y'all were just getting these pieces that were just like it was almost like they didn't care about building the team. They just cared about getting some big names because that's all Russell Westbrook was in that trade for us. He was just a big name. He wasn't someone that was going to be an asset.
Yeah. M3 says college sports still loyal as fuck. They're fighting for their school pride. I think even in college sports it's fucked up. I mean, everything's always been to go to the next level. Next level, which you should be right. It's one and done there, hardcore. If you're a good player, you're one and done. But so man, so we got another topic, but it's funny. We won't talk about the Nets, but the Lakers are a media freaking wet dream, bro. There's always something going on with the Lakers. Like
Right.
I think the culture kind of changed a little bit here recently. We always heard about Kobe and Shaq with infighting. You know what I mean? That's sometimes just what young powerhouses, young, highly developed, skilled at what they do. You get that. You're young, you butt heads. That's kind of normal. But since they've left, and since it's been this LeBron era, there's a lot more drama that I remember with that team than normal.
Because LeBron, he helped usher in the era of super teams. Lopsided fucking. Once you get 2 superstars together, then teams like the Hawks don't have a chance. Like when you have superstars, it's a wrap. And not just to put three superstars on a team. Like there's no.
You remember when motherfuckers they might be your friend, go out to dinner, but they want to cut your throat, man. They met you on the court. There was no love. Now it's kumbaya and shit out there.
I think I like what Giannis did because he won a ring without having that super team. Like he did it and he stayed it with his team. Like I commend him for it because it takes a lot to be like, dude, we don't have no other superstars but me, and for you to just stick it through, man, and you won a ring, man. Like that's what's up. Damian Lillard, he's making a mistake staying with Portland, but that's his team. Maybe it's all about the money for him on that end. Maybe it's about the money and being a legacy, like I don't know, like Dominique Wilkins was for the Hawks, right? Just maybe y'all weren't shit, but at least we had this dude.
All right. So, Hotline Bling is a good song. He says, keep talk. He's a talk about the Nets. So our next topic is, and this is kind of one that Bruce was talking about. Kind of Bruce was a driving force behind this topic. Will Ben Simmons be an asset or even play on this Nets team? And I'm gonna let you take this one right off the rip, Bruce.
Shit, I have the same question still. Will he be an asset or even play? I mean, like, because isn't he getting like back surgery or something now?
He's one
some type of surgery recently.
He won them glass. What do you call them? Glass house.
Yeah, man. Why did the Sixers totally won that trade?
Yeah. So he won't shoot. Okay, he won't shoot. He's got some kind of issue sometimes with even playing. Do you know how easy it is to guard for teams when you will not shoot the ball?
Yeah, because they know they can just leave you wide open. What do they have to guard you for, really?
Right. So, so that just clogs the lane up. Even if you spread it out, it still screws up the. What it does is like you want your defense, like they call it, be connected on a string. So as the offense moves, you want your entire defense to move like on a string together. So when a guy won't shoot, the defense can sag off and it just tightens them up. They can move even tighter. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can try to take up the space, but then you're just going to be clogging shit up. So without him shooting, I saw some sort of
why? What the? And then like he got a surgery. Like what? He had surgery a couple of weeks ago. Like y'all knew about this stuff. Why did y'all trade for a guy that's like, okay, I know mental health is a big issue. Blah blah blah. Besides mental health, this motherfucker won't shoot. Y'all picked up a player with a pre-existing injury that you knew he was going to have to fucking get surgery for and rehab. Like, what did you even? Y'all picked up another Kyrie.
I think it goes back to what we're talking about earlier. And shout out to Jay Holla who just showed up in the chat, bro. He says, if Ben Simmons shot the ball, he would be dangerous. Yep, that's what we're talking about right now.
If Kyrie shows up to work, then that's so dangerous.
So, right, yeah. So it just allows the defense to load up on you. I saw some report, and I think it's just bullshit because reports are a dime a dozen. Somebody was saying, "Oh, if he goes to center position, you know," I'm like, "The fuck, center position? Like this guy." Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say you have to shoot sometimes in the center position.
Well, like we're talking about with Russell on the last show we did, you have to evolve your game. If you just rely on your talent and your athleticism, you're fucked. You have to, as you get older, you better use fundamentals. You better be good with them. You better be practicing them. You better be refining them fuckers. Because if not, you just going to the athleticism takes you very little in this league.
You have to be able to shoot. You have to shoot. You have to have a shot. You cannot afford to be out there and not shoot. The Nets are like the Lakers of the East Coast. They're like really the big what ifs. Well, what if this happens? Well, if this person shows up, then they could be a contender. If he shoots the ball, they could be really make a run for it. Like it's all these ifs. And it's been if for what? They've been playing together for what? Like 3 years? They've been on the same team on the Nets for 3 years with each other now.
Yeah, I've never been one to be if. A lot of people are like, well, what if talk about team? What if this guy didn't get injured? Well, that's a big fucking part of it. The big part of winning is a whole bunch of shit.
Right.
I don't care. So if you were a good team and you got injured, you weren't good enough. Somebody's body broke down. Something happened. That's what makes the winner even better. You were able to stay healthy enough to win the chip. Like I hate it when people are like, well, Golden State won that because so many people were injured in the playoffs. But that's so don't fucking cut them down. Their health was better than everybody else's, and that's part of being better than a motherfucker.
Right. Because like we all know the Raptors wouldn't have won come on, Durant and Durant and Klay Thompson going down. Come on, we all know like Durant was warming up. He was probably about to have the sickest game of that series. Like he was going crazy when that shit happened. Like that shit wasn't for the Raptors to win with the healthy Warriors, but the Warriors went down and the Raptors did what they were supposed to do. You got to capitalize on any weakness.
Jay Hollis says Kyrie and Durant played 50 games together in 3 seasons. Yeah,
that ain't shit.
You got to have chemistry too. So we talk about some people who played together for a long time and they had chemistry. They knew what the other guy was going to do in every set, right? They don't have that chemistry. They may, I don't know whether they may have it on the playground or at the leagues or whatever, but it's different in the NBA. Like you got to have floor time together, bro. It takes a while. So 50 games, if that's correct, Jay Holla, 50 games and 3 seasons.
That sounds about right. And it may be less than that.
Come on, man. So you were talking about the Sixers winning the trade. So we're going to go back to everything used to be about rings, right? I feel like they did this for notoriety name. Oh, now we got Ben Simmons. We got 3 superstars in this league, right?
You think the Nets did it for notoriety?
Notoriety. Well, if we get rid of Harden because he's deteriorating, he doesn't want to play. I think everybody could see that he's deteriorating. His usage has been way too fucking high for way too many years, and that's why every postseason he wouldn't be able to go. He was wore out, bro.
Yeah, you can thank who was the coach on
Rockets?
Yeah,
D'Antoni.
Yep, D'Antoni. You can thank him for that.
Yeah. But
you can thank probably Harden too, because Harden he likes to play. I mean, he played hard. He had a good career. He played hard, but putting those kind of minutes on you every night, like you're playing the whole fucking game, like nobody does that, dude. Like, so I imagine when you start going down, you go down pretty fast.
Yeah,
I mean, Westbrook played like that.
Father Time is undefeated, and it might be showing up at the Lakers real fucking soon, like, bro, with more than one person. Actually, it looks like it is showing up with more than one person on that team.
I think Harden can still be a good asset, though. He's just not – he can't play the same that he's been. I think he can still help a team win a championship.
Reduce the usage, let him still do his talents, and he's fresh in the postseason.
Right.
Like, who doesn't fucking understand that? To me, it's like, okay, well, we're not winning the chip but we got this James Harden guy who puts up mad numbers. He keeps us in the media. People are talking about our team and they're coming out of our mouth. Sometimes in this age of social media and the new media, that's all that's wanted. Well, at least if we're being talked about, that could be good enough. Like, fuck that. That goes back to when was motherfucking rings? Why are rings not as important as they fucking used to be?
They should be. It should be about. That's what you're doing this shit for. I think that like James Harden, it's okay for him to load manage. You have to load manage when they're that age. And he's played. Dude, he's put an insane amount of hours on the court. So he needs to be load managed because he's not the same. Like LeBron James, he needs to be load managed in a way. Like you got to save these dudes for the postseason. You have to.
Yeah, but
some people load manage and they shouldn't even really like. The thing about the load managing though is like if they put in the time, man, then that's cool. But like and also though, like fans when you go to see like okay, like the Clippers, right? Kawhi Leonard likes to fucking load manage. What the fuck are you load managing for? Why are you load managing? People are coming to see you play, and then when you're load managing, they pay this money to see these stars, and you're sitting on the bench because you want to save yourself for marriage or whatever the fuck. Like
Marriage.
yeah,
It's fucking funny. Yeah, Jay Hollow, we're gonna have a show definitely several times this year about the Warriors, man. We're definitely gonna be talking about them.
like imagine like being a Hawks fan, right? And you don't get to see the Lakers very often. If you get to see them in the season, right? So the one time that the Lakers come down to Atlanta to fucking play the Hawks, you're going to see LeBron James. Do you want this motherfucker to be load managing? No, you done spent extra money on the fucking tickets just so you could see him, and then to get there and it to be like, well, he decided to load manage tonight, which LeBron doesn't, but it's just an example. Like he's someone that you're going to go see because he's in your hometown, and that's not a game that we get to see. It's never the Lakers versus the Hawks. That never happens.
Yeah, you're going to see load management. What you're going to
Right.
fucking see.
The fans pay to see these stars, dude. So like, you expect you load managing, and you still getting injured. What the fuck?
That's the thing that's fucked up. Sometimes when you change the dynamic of what you would do normally, that's when you make shit happen. So let's say you're like, oh man, I'm worried about getting injured. You know, you got an injury once and you can't get it out of your head. You got what they call the yips, right? And you constantly think about that, so you get injured again because you're just working out of your normal setup here. So load management is something that OGs did it without sitting on the bench, right? They knew how to shift the gears, when to shift the gears, how to shift the gears, when to reserve myself but still play on the court. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Now it's just fucking park the motherfucker.
Yeah, they're just bench in street clothes. Like, yeah. But I mean, like, I understand getting a serious injury like that. Like, it can, because I mean, it happens to boxers too, right? You get this boxer that's been fucking you've seen it with everybody, right? This the king of the world, Deontay Wilder, fucking Mike Tyson. Like, they get knocked out one time, man, and they're never the same. It's just that thought in the back of their head, like, I guess it does something to you.
Yeah, well, there's some people it does. They call it like the yips. Like I know Charles Barkley, they plays golf a lot, and he has a real fucked up swing, and it happened because he got the yips. All of a sudden, I guess he had a shoulder injury one time, so he went to play to kind of change his swing. Ever since then, he hadn't been able to swing where the fuck. So, you know, I get, but yeah. Let's see. Hold on a second. Where is that at? Okay. But as for Ben Simmons, we're gonna go ahead and close it up with Ben Simmons because we are at our limit. We might do some longer live streams where we can really get to talking to some people and shit.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, for these, we're just kind of doing hot takes under 30 minutes, and I think that's going to cover what we're going to do because there's still more Nets topics to talk about and what our time limit. So we're going to go ahead and bounce, and we'll talk to y'all later. And thanks to Jay Holla, M3 Reviews,
Diamonds, M3. Appreciate it.
We got Hotline Bling as a good song came in. Appreciate everybody for showing up. Appreciate Bruce Banner for doing the show. We're just some fans doing this as we want. We ain't professionals, but we still appreciate NBA, and I think that's important. So,
yeah, I agree with you, Paula. If Simmons does decide to get out of that funk, whatever the fuck he got going on, then he can be an asset.
Maybe he got the yips too, bro.
But if not, and let's just hope that another version of the coronavirus doesn't come out and they demand vaccines, because then Kyrie Irving or a social justice issue doesn't come up, because then he'll be gone for that, or a birthday party. Kyrie Irving doesn't give a fuck about basketball. Actually, I think he cares about basketball. He just doesn't give a fuck what how what he does affects the whole team. He's
Right.
4.
Right.
He don't even care about the money because look at all the money he lost by sitting out. He doesn't care about the money. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He plays basketball when he wants to, and he
Yeah.
happens to do very well.
There's even more topics we can go on with the Nets, but we're gonna go ahead and bounce out. And appreciate everybody for stopping by.
Yeah,
And we'll catch y'all on the next NBA Chat Town.
yeah. Take it easy.